change.
We're good?
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting of the Falmouth School Committee, April 6, 2026 to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Katrina, could you please read the mission and vision?
Sure. The Falmouth Public Schools creates world-class student learning experiences. Our Clippers are empowered to pursue their goals with curiosity, integrity, and resiliency. Clippers are creative, inquisitive, and engaged learners who participate in their community as socially responsible citizens. Clippers effectively communicate and solve problems that impact the world around them.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll open our meeting, or the first item on the agenda will be public comment. Public comment will be limited to 10 minutes. You see that it is shortened tonight because we have a shorter meeting. Members of the public are welcome to speak during public comment. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes in length. Due to the open meeting law, the committee cannot respond to or act on public comment. Additional comments and feedback can be submitted by email to schoolcommittee@falmouth.k12.ma.us. So is there anybody? Oh, yes, I have the list here. This is Megan. No recording statement.
I'm ready.
All right, Megan Zottely, Carriage Shop Road. I haven't prepared something tonight, so I'm just going to speak, so I appreciate the timer. I am the petitioner for Article 25, which is on your agenda tonight, and you have had no presentation, you have had no discussion, and you have not asked the petitioner to come and present or speak about the article. I have asked the chair to speak at this meeting and do a presentation as I did at all the precinct meetings, and I was denied that right that you should have. So you're coming into this to act on something that you do not have all of the information about. You're not given a presentation, and you're probably going to get a biased presentation, which I have seen over and over again after attending almost a year of meetings in this committee. So I'm going to give you a very brief 1-minute presentation of Article 25. It's for the town to accept Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 71, Sections 83 through 86. What acceptance does do? It protects the educational access and stability. It reduces legal risk for our town. It reinforces civil rights for our students. It aligns with language used by the majority of districts in Massachusetts. There are 407 of them no longer have JICA language. You are one of 7 because you voted to remove it. What it does not do, it does not eliminate dress codes. It does not take away your authority as a school committee. And it was noted by the superintendent in a recorded meeting that you needed to accept Chapter 71, Section 83, or you should take JICA out. So now I'm asking for you to accept it. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Right on the nose with no preparation. Good job.
Okay, I should have read the recording statement. It wasn't, okay. It's a technicality that I should read. I don't see anybody, but I will read it. This meeting of the Falmouth School Committee is being recorded in accordance with Massachusetts Open Meeting Law. Anyone who wishes to make an audio or video recording of this meeting must first notify the chair. Please raise your hand, make your presence known if you intend to record the meeting. Okay, no one's doing that. Okay, so the next item on the agenda will be a review of the superintendent's goals progress.
Bringing this up.
Okay, so as I go through this, and we are limited on time tonight, most of these slides have been presented before, so I'm going to concentrate on the evidence slides that you received in the packet this week. So goal 1 is to provide oversight, direction, and support for student learning through the student achievement data analysis, MTSS and IST analysis, and the development of school-specific objectives for student advancement. There were 5 standards that became the focus indicators for this goal. Number 1 was to review and analyze specific data, to meet monthly with the Director of Teaching and Learning and the Director of Student Services to review the MTSS and IST process, and then to meet with each principal to determine individual school objectives for student learning. All of this has been done. As far as the third one, individual school objectives, as often happens, they became ×4 ×7 in the steps we were taking based on the review of the data and meeting with principals. So the evidence, we enhanced the IST and TSS process through those monthly meetings and the review of the practices in the schools. We invested in the high-quality instructional material ELA program, K-6, which is the EL education. And there was more professional development this year, and including coaching and supports for teachers and support for leadership. We just began the process for a high-quality instructional material program at this preschool level. We've emphasized the importance of ongoing collaboration at all levels and between all groups. Just as an example of something we've enhanced this year that's, in addition to enhancing all the collaboration between all the groups are the ELD teachers and the reading specialist. So that's been a positive move of increasing the collaboration one more step. Focus professional learning on new curricula, shifting the pedagogy and the use of tools for personalization and intervention. We encourage participation in state leadership teams. We have several of our department heads that are on state level teams. So it's an exchange of information at the state level between districts, also getting support from outside vendors, as well as that the state has selected and the state individuals leading. And then initiated revision of master schedules for optimal time on learning. That was one of the most important steps that we've made this year for our 4 elementary schools in Morse Pond. Goal 2 was improve communication with staff by increasing information sharing and opportunities for feedback and collaboration. There are 3 standards that are become the focus indicators. And sometimes those are in the evaluation form, I should say, that it's actually indicated as focus indicators. They are referring to the standards when that, so just interchangeable as far as the evaluation is. Standards are referring to all of them. Focus indicators are the specific standards per goal. The key action steps, increase periodic emails to bi-weekly emails to staff, increasing the walkthroughs from 2 times a month to 3 to 4 times a month, offer first of 2 one-to-one sessions and with the superintendent. This has been an ongoing practice of mine, is that staff can meet with me at certain times. So we did 1 across the year. We've increased from to 2, 1 in the fall and then 1 in the spring. And the 1 in the spring that they're scheduled. Oh, sorry, what did I do? Right, sorry about that. Attend fall staff meetings. We always attend to some of the staff meetings of the year. We're very intentional to 3 staff meetings, and we're scheduling them as such. We completed the fall. We also added a volunteer mid-year staff meeting, and then and those have happened. but I also have spring staff meetings scheduled, and this is time for the staff to share, have discussions. The mid-year volunteer staff was the suggestion by the staff that it could be a smaller group where those that have something they can say may feel more comfortable in a small group opposed to the large staff meetings. So that was why the mid-year was a voluntary staff meeting. And provide biweekly survey questions to monitor the implementation of new communication strategies or other topics that we are wanting feedback on. I don't know the other, sorry. Okay, so evidence, sent a minimum of 38 communications in approximately 31 weeks. Average walkthroughs across the schools were 3.5 per month. It breaks down differently by school. Met with 28 staff members across the 7 schools during the one-to-one sessions in the fall. Attended at least one staff meeting at every school, and I say that because some staff I've actually gone at a request. I've been back more often, but I did complete at least the ones I said I was going to do, plus more. Held one volunteer staff meeting at each school in the winter and offered staff 5 different surveys. Not all surveys were getting good response, so I ended up sending about 14 reminders on that. Goal 3, monitor and communicate finance and policy changes at the federal and state level and take appropriate action as needed. There are 4 standards as focus indicators on this goal. And the key action steps was to monitor financial changes at the federal level, monitor key state legislation affecting the schools and develop policy as needed, communicate updates and changes to the appropriate stakeholders as appropriate, and involve stakeholder input as needed. I provided 16 financial updates and 8 legislative and policy updates over 7 school committee meetings this fall. And goal 4, develop an implementation plan for the vision of navigating the future together. There are 4 focus indicators, 4 standards that were identified as focus indicators. Key action steps: oversee process for the potential Lawrence School renovation, pending decision with Lawrence School grade configuration, develop a 2 to 4 year process plan for determining the changes. And the reason why it was just a process plan, it was basically saying what we will do if a decision had been made, was because it's hard to actually say what the plan is until you know exactly all the specifics on that. Develop a plan for expanding pre-K, pending decision for an early learning center. Develop a process plan for removing attendance boundary lines across the elementary schools. When I had made this a goal, I went from, instead of merging schools, as looking at the entire attendance boundary lines, again, pending the decision, and then communicate status and plans to stakeholders. And one more change. Remember, these were all done in September, set in September. So the first one says oversee process for the potential Lawrence School was before we knew whether we were invited into the MSBA process. So that's how the goal was written as far as September. The evidence supervised the MSBA process, timelines and required documents. Although the school committee had not yet made a decision about the Lawrence School grade configuration, I provided information through numerous presentations to assist in making the decision. Although I maintain the Early Learning Center is what's best for our community, I created a plan for expanding preschool to 2 schools. Although the school committee has not made a decision to date about the Early Learning Center, I also provided options to help make the decision easier when that time comes. And I do know that we, had stated that we're making decisions kind of taking one at a time. And I do want to give a shout out to the committee that you've made a lot of decisions. And, this was a proposal with lots of decisions. We made the decision that we were going to renovate Lawrence School, that the renovation was going to be a 3-grade configuration, and that we were taking Morse Pond offline. And so within this process, you have made a lot. I just want to give a shout out to the school committee on that. And then the communicated information about the Lawrence School grade configuration, and et cetera. We've taken all those up. So thank you. And I hope that everyone signs up for a one-to-one session with me to discuss the evaluation. And I look forward to talking to each one of you.
It took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, sorry.
No, I want to reiterate that. I encourage you all to make an appointment. Sharon is ever on top of things like that for us, and we'll set up the document where you can just, it's a Google Doc, Sharon, right? And they just fill it in? Yeah. So, and Lori always will make time after work, or, it doesn't have to just be normal business hours, so.
That's right.
You have plenty of time to do that. Okay. The next, I'm sorry, I made a statement. Start with you. Any questions?
No, I was just, of course, I'm having trouble getting it to work. I was just trying to get into, actually, I guess I do have a question now because I can't get this to work. I was trying to open the evidence that you had sent, but for some reason, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. I don't know if anybody else is.
Why don't I help you with that offline?
Okay, because it looks like these are supposed to open a new page, the summary. It looks like a summary, and each thing is supposed to open a new page with
I
the
have
depth.
opened all of them and they work.
They do? Okay, then it's me. Ignore me. It's my own personal technical issue. I'll sort it out.
I had trouble too.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll help.
Okay, we'll figure it out. That was my only
Yeah.
issue.
We're living on time. I'm just,
Chris?
Nope, it was just if there was a document, it sounds like there is one, so.
Yeah. Brenda? Melissa?
Thank you.
When were the 14 survey reminders sent out? I don't know if I missed it in your document. For the staff?
Yeah, it's in
survey.
there. I can show you.
Okay.
Margaret?
No, I just had trouble hitting on them too also.
Okay. Mike or Sue, did you have any questions?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Yeah, I had one. And I don't know if this is even a legitimate question or not, but those 5 surveys, without getting the survey data, can we get a heading of what the surveys were?
If I didn't make that clear, I will for everybody.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into the weeds with the data and all that stuff, just an idea of what the title of the surveys was.
Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. I'm sorry. I'll do that.
Okay. I'll reiterate, if you have any questions, you think of things later, please contact Lori. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a presentation on the summative evaluation process. Margaret?
Okay, so, we have it.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, so we're moving to the overview, which is that we are now at the summative evaluation process, circular. This circular way. Okay. So each school committee member prepares an end of cycle summative evaluation report. It is due on April 24th. It is an assessment of the superintendent's progress on goals, performance on each of the standards, and overall rating on the performances, of the performance. Okay. How to complete the end of cycle. Okay, so on the first page, clearly, you go back to the first page after you have completed the performance goals. Okay, so that's the way the form is. However, we do one and then we go back to it. Okay. I don't know if there are any questions about that. Summative, which you see, student learning goals, professional goals. Okay, and at that we do the other forms first and then we go back to that. And then moving on to the summative guidance. The summative guidance document will be created using this outline as agreed upon at the start of the meeting. The summative evaluation report is created by consolidating each school committee member's single summative evaluations based on the preponderance of individual ratings. Preponderance is defined as a mode of the data set. Ratings other than proficient must be accompanied and justified by a comment that acts as an explanation. Comments on the individual evaluation should be relevant to 25-26 goals, action steps, and benchmarks as approved by the school committee. Similar comments listed by more than one individual member will be included in the summative narrative. The evaluations of individual members who have not fully participated in the mid-cycle process and offered formative feedback will be weighted less than other evaluations. There will be no ratings of needs improvement in the 25 summative or during the There were no ratings of needs improvement in the 25 summative or during the mid-cycle 25-26. Therefore, according to DESE, there can be no ratings of unsatisfactory in the summative. More information of
Margaret,
that.
can you say that part one more time again, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Since there were no ratings of needs improvement in the 25 summative or during the mid-cycle 25-26, therefore, according to DESE, there can be no ratings of unsatisfactory in the summative.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there's more information can be found in DESE and the NHCS documents. And if there are any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Terry, are we doing questions now or no?
As soon as Margaret's done.
Oh,
Okay, the evidence for completion of the summative evaluations, the summative report is created by consolidating each school committee member's single summative evaluations. This is done based on the preponderance of individual ratings, not merely as an average of the ratings. Preponderance is defined as a mode of the data set. Outliers are, of course, taken into consideration, as well as written comments, comments relevant and weighing. Additional considerations. The evaluations of individual members who have not fully participated in the mid-cycle process and offered formative feedback will be weighted less than other evaluations. Ratings in any and all categories, goals, standards, and indicators other than proficient must be accompanied and justified by a comment that acts as an explanation. Not doing so will result in the rating being weighted less than any other member's ratings. Comments on the individual evaluation should be relevant to the 25-26 goals, action steps, and benchmarks as approved by the school committee. Similar comments listed by more than one individual member that are relevant to the 25-26 goals, action steps, and benchmarks will be included in the summative narrative. Comments may be combined to reflect the overall sentiment of multiple members. All comments from the individual evaluations will not be reflected in the summative. Individual members whose comments are not indicated in the final document have the opportunity to read their comments at the public discussion of the summative. As is described in the guidance for DESE, ratings of unsatisfactory can only be given when performance has not significantly improved following a rating of needs improvement in the summative form 2025. Or performance is consistently below the standard or both. Ratings that do not follow this guidance will be weighted less. No, there were no ratings of needs improvement in the 25 summative or during the mid-cycle 25-26. Therefore, there can be no ratings of unsatisfactory in the 25-26. Overall ratings on goals standards shall be calculated the same as the individual indicators, using all members' ratings, not by an average of the individual scores. Thank you.
Okay, so we started with Kelly, so we'll start with Margaret, but it's a technicality, Margaret. Okay, just to start you. Katrina, did you have a question?
I have a question about the last part that you were just reading there, Margaret, which is about the guidance from DESE with unsatisfactory. So the note here, my first question has to do with the note, which seems to contradict what's directly above it, where it says that you can do needs improvement if there was needs improvement before, then you can do unsatisfactory, or, and then there are two other options for why you could do that. But then the note says there can be no ratings of unsatisfactory at all, which contradicts this piece above saying it needs improvement previously, or the performance is consistently below. So that's confusing to me. Maybe someone has an explanation. And then additionally about that paragraph, is the reference to needs improvement in the 2025 summative or during the mid-cycle referring to individual indicators getting that rating, or is it referring to the summative at the very end, the last rating for each evaluation? Does anyone have an explanation for that?
I'm not clear what you're,
So when you go through the evaluation, each indicator for each standard you can rate. And if you rate some of those as needs improvement, but then at the end you say proficient, are we saying that last one is, because I had said proficient and needs improvement both on indicators, but my final score last year was proficient. So are you saying that there was no needs improvement for any final tabulation for evaluations, or no needs improvement whatsoever? Because that's not true. Do you know what I'm saying?
there was no needs improvement in the summative.
Right, so does that mean it was not referred to at all, or that the final scoring for each evaluation? What are we referring to there?
The final scoring, right?
Yeah, I mean, I read it,
I think you did that last year.
yeah, if it references in the summative, that's the final document that we vote on. So it would have to be in the final document that we vote on as a group.
So it's not for individual members' evaluations?
Right, that's how I read it. Because the summative is the one we vote on.
Okay, and that, so maybe you have the answer, Kelly, for my previous question, which was that we have 3 ways in which a person might rate things unsatisfactory. One is if there was previously a needs improvement, or performance is consistently below, or both. And then below that, the note contradicts that.
Yeah, I guess, because your point is that the performance is consistently below, like what does that actually mean, right? Like,
Well, no, I'm
what's the
saying
measure
it
for
says
that?
there's 3 ways that you might end up with unsatisfactory here, but then the note says that we can't do it
Right.
at all. And I'm not saying that I want to do that, I'm just
Yeah,
saying it makes no
but I
sense.
see what you mean, and I think, I would, for next year, if you're on evaluation, I think that this could use some cleaning up in the language, because that phrase, or performance is consistently below the standard, or both, doesn't really, it could use some explanation, so that was, I think that could be probably clearer.
And then my final question is, I don't recall seeing this in September, October, when we were going over this at the beginning of the year when we voted. And so if we didn't, I don't remember seeing it in the presentation, and I looked for it, and I was able to find the original presentation, and this was not in it. So if we didn't vote on this, does that mean that we are not following this guidance?
No, I can address that. The document we are using is the same document that has been used in the process for 2 previous years, and this is the 3rd year. The superintendent's subcommittee did not make any changes to it when they met in October. And therefore, this document in reality is really for the sake of the person who's going to do the counting. And so it was really for that person, not necessarily for the whole committee. However, because I believe in transparency, I wanted everyone on the committee to see the document before, so that they would understand how it was done. Okay?
I mean, it was included last year at this stage as well, and I can't remember if last year we had voted on this specific document, but it looks, well, I guess the reason I'm asking that is because it refers to the mid-cycle 2025-26, which in September, October, when we voted, had not occurred yet. So the document has changed since September, October.
Yeah, this has been updated, right, this part, I guess, with the new dates.
Dates were updated.
So I feel like the process in the past was to vote on things and then use the guidance that we voted on, and it doesn't seem like we did that this year, and that's why I'm bringing it up.
Well, this document, at the October meeting, there was no discussion about changing this document.
But it wasn't presented. I'm
sorry?
saying it was not in the presentation, though.
No, because in fact, as I said, this document is really for the person, really intended for the person who will know how to do the whatever. And there were no changes. Anything that was presented to us was about how the evaluation was going to be done this year. Any changes, like the goals were changed, whatever. That's what was presented.
So this document doesn't need to be voted on, is what you're saying?
If in fact the subcommittee had at their meeting said they were going to make changes, then it should have been brought to the committee and said they were going to make changes to it, yes.
I understand that. So we vote every year on the operating protocols for ourselves. We change them if we want to. Sometimes we don't change them. This seems like kind of the operating protocols for the evaluation subcommittee. So does the subcommittee need to vote on this? Is there some process for adopting these on an annual basis?
Maybe we're getting far afield from what's here. Could I suggest that if you want clarification on your questions, that you contact any member of the evaluation subcommittee who has ironed these out. And you have like 3 weeks before the evaluation is actually due. So if you have specific questions other than what's presented here, if you could contact some member of the committee. That's what they're supposed to do, is iron out.
I just want to make one more point. I was very clear that this document should be given to everybody at the school committee meeting because I do believe in transparency. And since there were no changes in this document, I wanted everyone to see it so they would understand how the calculations would be done. It usually only goes to the person who is going to do the counting, but I wanted everyone, and in light of transparency.
Melissa, do you have a question?
I just was maybe hopeful, trying to help Katrina a little. The committee voted on this a few years ago, this specific document that I feel like we're getting stuck in the weeds with a little bit, specifically for the evaluation subcommittee. People that are not on the evaluation subcommittee, let me back that up. The evaluation subcommittee, if they wanted to do changes, they would have had to have brought it to us last fall. They did not bring us any changes, so the document remains. Because a previous, committee a few years ago voted this document in as the final document for the tallies, and that's how it showed up. Does that make sense to you? Thank you. Okay, sure.
Melissa? Glenda?
I have no questions.
Okay.
Well, I am on the evaluation subcommittee, and this document was never discussed, nor was it brought to the school committee. And I don't have issues with many of the bullet points. However, the first one, the evaluation of individual members who have not fully participated in the mid-cycle process and offered formative feedback will be weighted less than other evaluations. That is objectionable to me because first of all, it's subjective what does not fully participate in the mid-cycle process means. But if it means meeting privately with the superintendent, I did not avail myself of that opportunity because, and I don't begrudge others that did, because I think that we are still working through some confusion on the process. But our policy, CBI, evaluation of the superintendent, says all school committee discussions and deliberations related to the superintendent's performance evaluation shall be conducted in open session in accordance with open meeting law. So I followed that, and I did not think that it was appropriate for me to meet privately to discuss that. I had the opportunity to ask my questions at a meeting. So I do not agree that my evaluation should be weighted any less than any other committee members. And so that is highly objectionable to me, and I expect that my evaluation will be weighted equally to other committee members.
Can I respond?
You know what, see, we're getting into these individual things, so I'm gonna stop it right now. I'll let Chris, if he wants to say anything. But if you have, it's because it's filling out your own individual one, and you have questions about how these general things could impact your own individual, I recommend that you ask general questions. Do not show your evaluation to the person you're asking the questions for. That's important, that you just say, I want some general questions. So I'm going to say that we'll stop with the individual questions now, okay?
I think
and I will
but there's
direct them to
important
Margaret.
information. All of the documents were sent to the committee, the subcommittee. So everyone had access to these documents. You chaired that subcommittee meeting. So if you wanted to change it, you could have changed it at that time.
We never discussed this, Margaret. Never.
Oh, yes, you did.
Okay, see, that we don't want, we will iron those things out, okay? To be honest with you, I was surprised by the weighted comment too. And But anyway, and people may wonder, well, why are these people discussing a document and changes? Because DESE gives you some basics, and they say, the word preponderance is a crazy word. Who can even say it, let alone define it? So it's up to the committee, like somebody may say if 3 people say it, some people may say if 2 people say it, it'll be in the final document. But those are all little specific things that will be clarified to each individual person. And also, at the end, usually the person who has tallied everything gives an explanation at the time too, right? And so.
Hey, Terry, I haven't got to speak yet, if I could.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. That was an oversight. I didn't get to sue you.
No, you're fine. To your last comment, I'm glad you made me wait, because your last comment last year when we approved the evaluation, there was no comments had at the meeting. I take my time writing my comments, and the past 2 cycles, whoever was on the evaluation committee, whoever did the last thing, did not include my comments at all. So it is very disheartening when you spend time writing comments and they're totally deleted, and then at the public meeting, there is no discussion. I remember last year, I did say something because the public has the right to see all these individual evaluations. And then the other thing I will say about this new document that I'm just seeing 3 days ago, I don't agree with any of it, and I didn't agree with it at the time, because all it's doing is it deletes the voices of minority members on this committee. It's been doing it for years. I don't like it. There is no definition of how much someone's vote is weighted. This is all just made up stuff. And I would like to see anything from DESE that says anything about the needs improvement unsatisfactory, because we can't just get dropped a thing. When we voted on that, and I voted against it years ago, it was not meant to be a thing that we do forever. That was a moving piece, and we were supposed to revisit it every year. So if we didn't look at this document September, October, that doesn't say that it should automatically get pushed in there. And I am concerned that we're just getting this now because it was not presented earlier. And that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to ask Sue if she has anything? Do you want to ask
Sue, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. All right. So I reiterate strongly, if you have individual questions, Mike's comments or Katrina's or mine or Glenda's, talk to the people on the committee. Okay? And the score.
There is a response to Mike right there, that any member can really speak at the meeting of the evaluation, their comments that were not recorded.
Yeah.
It's right here in this document.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that the document that we just got today or other document? I'm confused.
I am so glad that I asked for transparency.
Well, I would say that if I could, Terry, because we're going back and forth now, which is not Robert's rules, but transparency would be get that document back in September, October, not 3 days before.
Chair of the committee.
Okay, I agree with you there, Mike. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, okay. I'm sorry to squelch things, but we have other things we have to do. If this needs to come back for a little public comment presentation, we'll do that. Okay.
But at the last meeting, you said, at this point in the evaluation, we should not be changing anything. And if we want to change this.
Okay, Margaret, okay. Okay.
Chris
Yeah.
wants to say something.
All right, Glenda's.
No, I think Chris wants to
Oh,
say
I'm sorry, Chris.
No, that's fine. So as the person who's going to be doing this, the initial pass of the summative, my concern is that it is very ambiguous and it is very subjective. So, I think my feeling is in terms of reaching out to each individual subcommittee member, you'll probably get 3 different answers for the same question. And that's my concern. And in terms of whose responsibility is it to determine whose opinions should be weighted less? Are you going to leave that up to the decision of one member of this committee when I'm supposed to represent the committee as a whole? So, I have concerns about kind of that process. And I know it's, you know, I've served on the evaluation subcommittee before, and I think it was more just kind of, how to explain it, just kind of accepted norms. And I think now we're getting into, you know, and I think probably properly so, more the details of how this should be done so that it can be consistent and not dependent on who happens to be the person doing the summative. So, you know, I don't know if it's really, if I'm offering any kind of solution, but it's more just a concern for relying on the you know, kind of the judgment, the bias of an individual school committee member to determine each individual member's kind of weight in terms of their evaluation.
Okay. If indeed this needs more public comment, we will do it. Okay. I'm looking at things, Lori, do we need to act on all these policies tonight?
You could
Let's see how we
Can we put those up?
let's see how many we can get done.
Well, let's look at what else we have to do. Let's look at what else we have to do.
Kelly, Margaret is concerned you didn't have a comment.
No,
No,
you don't have a comment, okay, just want to make
Thank
sure
you,
you had an opportunity.
I appreciate
All
it.
right. Okay, we have to do the Article 25. Let's do that one. That one's next on the agenda. Okay, so there is a agenda item to act to support or not support Article 25. So is there a motion?
And do you have anything you want to say?
You want me to start with a statement, or?
Yeah, why don't you start with the statement?
Okay, so I just want everyone to know that I prepared a presentation for town meeting tonight. The presentation includes the information that I provided to you on March 21st, and it also includes the language of the warrant book by the select board. I think there's just a couple things that we should keep in mind. There are already laws in place we adhere to for freedom of expression, and therefore 83 is unnecessary. There are laws in place that are direct conflict with Section 84 that prohibits the schools to discipline students outside of school-related activities. And we keep in mind these are just secondary policies for secondary schools. We should not allow the courts to determine if Lawrence is a secondary school. That should be a school committee decision. And we are already in discussions about the status of Lawrence once renovated. And the select board narrative states policies and other decisions are best made by the local elected officials, meaning the school committee, it states the school committee, in matters relating to schools. And I do concur with that statement that the school committee should be making the decisions about schools.
Okay, so that was commentary. Is there a motion on this agenda item?
I would like to make a motion to indefinitely postpone this agenda item. I don't know if anybody wants to second that, but.
I'll second that.
The 11th does, okay, with a second, can I explain why?
Okay, so we have to.
We have more things on the agenda. This is an 11th hour thing that we're doing without any guidance from legal counsel. We have not had a chance to discuss it. The town meeting is starting in an hour. And if we wanted to let town meeting members know our view, we should have done it sooner, in my opinion, so that they had a chance to ask questions and formulate their views prior to the meeting. It's just, I think it's irresponsible to render a vote and give an opinion on something that we're not well informed on right before the meeting, where the town meeting members are going to have their vote influenced by whatever we decide. So I would make a motion to indefinitely postpone this agenda item.
Second.
Okay, can I make a comment? Margaret, I'm sorry, do we do it before we take the vote?
No, make your comment.
Okay,
And we're
my
starting on
comment
the vote.
is, I don't think it's fair for you to assume that I am not well informed about this. I don't think you can make that blanket statement. That's all I would say. So that's my comment. All right, so any other comments? Chris?
More of a question. Did we get any legal opinion on this? Or was-
Yeah. In addition to, months, the March 21st letter was legal opinion. That entire letter was.
Did that legal opinion go to each town meeting member from all precincts? We are
No,
just
it's the
voting
school
as
committee.
No, I know, but it was a question asked by a town meeting member, and then you gave an answer to one person or to all town meeting members? I just am wondering.
To one, the person asking.
Can I have a question? How many members who are town meeting members attended their district meeting? I did too. Because then we did hear the presentation.
I'm a town meeting member, but I was not able to attend the precinct meeting.
Okay, we got out of order here.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
wanted
I
to
just
check.
want to make sure that we can
People
get
started
through and
talking
vote.
without me. I mean, we
It's just a
did that, so I
suggestion.
didn't have to recognize them, so.
If you don't want to indefinitely postpone it, vote against it, and we'll continue with the conversation.
Okay, see, are there any other comments? Okay, so let's take a vote. All those in favor of, okay, yeah, let me say what I'm gonna say first, please. Thank you. All those, no. Okay, all those in favor of indefinite postponement, okay, please say yes, and we'll do a roll, yes, no, or however you're gonna vote. So we'll start with Mike.
Halen, yes.
Sue?
I need clarification. The indefinite postponement, isn't that what the selectmen had voted, indefinite postponement of the article?
Yes.
Yes, but I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
this
this is,
Okay,
But
so
this is to,
this is about this vote.
This is for us to vote,
to verify the selectmen's indefinite postponement.
no.
to not vote.
Okay.
To not support or support the amendment.
It's to not take a vote.
It's to not take a vote.
Okay. No.
Okay, then we'll go around. Kelly?
Welch, no.
Lumping, yes.
Cohen, yes.
Madeira? I wait. Melissa?
Was Keith, no.
Nevin, yes.
No,
And Madeira's no. So did somebody count those?
I did.
yeah.
The noes have it.
Okay,
Okay, so then I'll make a motion that we don't support Article 25.
okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, are there comments? We'll start in the middle. Katrina?
What?
I mean, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
but
that's
when
all right.
people interrupt me and I have to rethink again. All
No,
right.
that's totally fine. I would have liked to have supported the superintendent's recommendation, but I just don't feel like I am well enough informed about this, and I would have liked for us to have had discussion. I think especially when we're voting on something that impacts students' civil rights, I just want to be very clear about what I'm voting on, and so I just don't feel like I have enough information to make informed decisions.
Okay. So, Melissa?
Thank you. I actually do have a comment on this. I've done research on my own, as I do for all town meeting articles as well as school committee articles. I certainly don't always expect to be spoon-fed in the packet or previous packets or letters or emails. So I am quite confident in my vote this evening, as well as my attention to this matter, and have educated myself as best I can on this. That's all.
Can I ask the superintendent a quick question? I will vote to support, I will vote against the motion, but I had heard the superintendent saying that something about this would make it so that we are not in charge, that the courts would decide whether or not Lawrence is secondary school.
It's a potential. I mean, my job is to make sure that I'm foreseeing any potential issues in the future, and that is definitely one that's a concern.
So I did not read that interpretation in the email that you had sent, so it was interesting to learn that. Thank you.
Okay.
So your vote just to,
Are we voting right now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm against the motion.
okay, Margaret?
I'm going to vote for the motion, but I also want to say that Maury, the town lawyer, spoke at our precinct meeting, and she said quite clearly that there's only one district in the whole state of Massachusetts that supports this.
That adopted it. That adopted it.
Would it be beneficial for us to have time as a committee to hear that at one of our meetings?
Okay. Did everybody vote?
No.
No.
Susan?
No. I did not vote
Okay, Sue.
yes.
Okay, Mike?
I think I just heard that Margaret said that the lawyer went to the precinct meeting, but we never got any lawyer at our meetings to ask questions to. And I have one other question about the courts dictating what Lawrence is. What is Lawrence now? Because have we designated that anything?
So, Mike, there's really, the school committee hasn't, except on time on learning, and DESE has determined that they're a secondary with time on learning, but they're a middle school as far as accountability and their profile.
All right, I'm not voting in favor of this. I don't know if I'm gonna abstain or vote no, because without having the chance to talk to a lawyer and kind of get into this stuff, and this being a real last minute thing, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right for us to vote on this at all, but I am not gonna vote for this. If I'll abstain.
Okay. So, did everybody vote?
So to be,
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Kelly?
I felt like the information that we got on the 22nd, 21st, whatever it was, it answered all my questions, almost. I think I had one follow-up that I followed up with Lori about to get answered, so I'm perfectly comfortable. I feel well-informed on it, and I vote in support, or I vote for my motion, which is to not support 25.
I think I missed that email, and unfortunately, so I do not feel informed enough to vote, so I will abstain.
Okay.
I'm abstaining. I don't know if my vote was clear. I was just making a comment the first time through, but I'm abstaining.
Okay.
To be clear, I am voting yes. I don't think it was clear, but I didn't write that down for myself.
Okay. And I'm voting in support of Kelly's motion.
And Sue?
Sue voted yes.
Sorry.
I voted
I'm
yes.
sorry, my mistake, sorry, yep, sorry.
So what's the total?
I'm missing one.
Did Mike
Terry
get his
voted
final?
yes.
Whether he's
Mike abstained.
Mike abstained.
5-3-1.
So 1, 2,
Three
3,
abstentions.
4,
Three
5.
abstentions.
That's the other one. Okay, got it.
Okay.
It's 5, 3, 1.
All right. So we're going to skip over the policies, guys, because it's really,
But we do, I know, and we are late. The calendars are really important
Okay.
than the other. Now, I don't know if you want to do them, or we can always call another meeting. And get it
excuse
done.
me, can we
Sue
vote?
has a question.
Terry, this is Susan. I'm gonna have to sign off, so, sorry, guys, but
It's okay.
see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
I
So
won't, but enjoy.
let's do the calendars,
Okay?
all right?
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
The revised Morse Pond,
Yeah, that's probably more timely than anything.
That's
what
what
I
I'm
was
worried.
starting to say.
I don't know,
That's
but-
what I was,
do we need
yeah,
to?
that's due by the 17th, and we do not have a meeting between now and the 17th of April. So,
Can we,
Okay.
maybe we're going to have a short meeting to go
Zoom
over all.
meeting.
We can't zoom through all of these things. And maybe, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, maybe we can iron out a little bit more of the evaluation if need be. Okay? Be fair. But one thing I really want to do is this is time sensitive to the survey. Okay, I want to tell everybody we are not going to act on that at the present time. And this is not a unilateral decision. The officers and I met before we made a decision, but we're not saying we're not doing it, but we're not doing it at this time. Okay? So everybody knows that. I guess, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll
And
make a motion.
Can I be clear? We will bring back these things. We'll have to have another meeting. We have to do right by all this important business.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mike?
Halen, yes.
Sue? Oh, it's not there. Okay, Margaret?
Yes.
Nevin, yes. Let's keep yes.
Linda Cohen, yes.
I love him, yes.
Well, yes.
Okay, Madeira's, yes. Okay.
Is this